Hello, I am really excited to be live with you guys today. It is Tuesday, November 10th, and I feel like yesterday was such an exciting stock rally, and I'm just really interested to follow the markets with you guys as we track this week. So I will go ahead and go live for the podcast in just a moment. Just as a reminder, the podcast is "Are You Green?" ? It can be found on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast, you can find it. So please do check that out. That being said, let me take a sip of water and then we'll start. And press record. Hello, traders and friends. Welcome to the Are You Green podcast. Today is Tuesday, November 10th, and it has been a little bit of a breather, which we needed after the excitement in the market yesterday. The SPY opened at 353 and 52 cents, and it's actually down just slightly, about 0.3%. And the XLK, which is the tech stock indicator that I watch very closely, it opened at 119.65, and it's now down about 1.5%, sitting at around 118.80. So the question that everybody wants to know, are you green for my personal accounts? No, I am not. So I am slightly red today. As you guys probably know, listening to the story, oftentimes I'm measuring my success against the SPY and XLK. And, you know, those are both also red right now. And, you know, with that, you just have to, you know, take into consideration that unlike those stocks where, you know, they're going up and down daily, and, you know, you could essentially, some investors do sit on those stocks for a while and gain that steady return. I'm actually siphoning off profits as I trade. So that's definitely part of my swing trading strategy, not that long-term investor. So the fact that, you know, my account is only red by a little bit and the other indicators are also red, and I made a day trade today where I got a really great profit. I'm pretty happy with my slightly red account. So in a moment when we return, we'll talk about the top news with Apple, as well as software and what's happening in the tech industry right now with this breather. I'll go into my personal trades. I did have a day trade today. I started a couple of swing trades that I'm excited to tell you about. Awesome. So that's the first segment. It just takes me a moment to add some music to it, and then we'll continue talking about what's going on today in the news. I love watching the news, but honestly, even for me as a news lover, it can get a little convoluted, and you know, it's kind of hard to pull out the important stories. So just focusing in on the news that specifically affects the stock market is really helpful. So we'll go ahead and record that. Hello, welcome back. Looking at the news today, Apple has just been the company to talk about. They had an event and they, you know, released new products, but that is not the topping. Oh my gosh, guys, that is not the talking point. The issue is actually the new chip that is in the product. So what a lot of people probably don't know about electronics and computers is that all of this runs off of chips, and oftentimes that's a separate company that manufactures them. So in the stock market, these chip companies are great to trade. I love it because they often have bounces, and they also are pretty dependable long term since that industry is increasing so much. So AMD is a you know, chip manufacturer, AMD, and they are great. It's a great stock to follow and trade. Obviously, you have Intel as well. For this Apple event, what really broke the news is they have started to manufacture their own chip. It's called M1. It's really fascinating because before they were, using other people's chips, and now they have, developed their own, which if it's as good as they say it is, it could really open up their business and provide some big competition for AMD and Intel. So I'm excited to, track that and see the effect that this has on those 3 stocks. So I'm going to be watching tomorrow AMD, Intel, and Apple based on this news. The other news that was reported today is just about the numbers came out about the number of deals with software companies, and those deals are people buying the companies, even buying and splitting them, or lots of movements with software companies, specifically cloud computing. So after I heard that news, they did mention an ETF, WCLD, which is made up of the cloud computing companies. So it's similar to what I follow with the XLK, made up of the broader stock companies in the S&P 500. This WCLD is just the companies that are focused on cloud computing. So I'm definitely going to take a minute later to look at a list of what those companies are that are feeding into it, because I'm curious. But why this ETF caught my eye is because the price point is very low. It's $42.80 a share. That's what I bought it at. That was the level I bought. And I imagine, if I want to swing this even in the next couple weeks, I think I can sell it for 48. So ETFs, they do have a little bit of a fee, as opposed to normally when I'm day trading and swing trading, I don't have to worry about any type of commission fees. But these ones do. But that huge net gain is definitely worth the fee. And depending on what I see with the companies that are in there, I might, hold it for even longer. But that's my first goal, is to, get it to 48. So I definitely wanted to share that with you. And then, since we are definitely transitioning from the news to my personal accounts, I just want to go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so I stopped it so that I could take a sip of water. Sorry, guys. I also have a chat box. If anyone wants to chat, say something, I'll definitely reply. One day when lots of people are on this stream, it'd be so cool for me to just take live questions, and to make it more of a conversation, because I feel like there is so much analysis that can be done with every single stock ticker. So it does help to talk through what other people are looking at. And again, I'm always happy to explain, my strategy and how I'm making my decisions. So great, let's talk about those decisions right now. Today was a very sad day for one of the stocks that I'm holding. That's BYND. So this stock has given me a roller coaster. Yesterday, I did go ahead and buy it at a low. It was around 140. And I was planning on selling it at 160. Then I got a notification that I was not allowed to sell it at 160, that I am, pushing it on the limits for the PDT rule. So that's pattern day trader. It's a regulation that, that they've put on traders. I honestly have to do a whole episode about it because I complain about this all the time. But basically, it means that I could not buy this stock and sell this stock on the same day. So it kind of screwed me over, just being honest with all my traders out there, because, I just thought, well, I know that they're reporting on earnings, but I'm still going to be safe holding it. And at that point, there wasn't anything I could do because I already bought it. So hold on tight. So it did look like, they missed some sales for their earnings. They also talked about kind of a problem that the product does go bad. So, it's not like a, a pantry, canned item. And at the end of the day, obviously today they're down 18%. So that's pretty huge, but I'm going to keep on holding the stock because I do think that it's going to go back up. I did read a couple of articles from Financial Analysis saying that now is actually a good time to buy BYND because they, are in the works with a partnership with Pizza Hut. They're still going to be working with McDonald's for a very long time. So, it might be a great time to buy. But I did want to be open and honest with you that, yes, I'm in this trade and it's outrageously against me, but that's why, I can share the news and my personal trades. But when it comes down to it, I'm not a licensed broker. So my advice is just, me talking basically, and it's not legally binding, and I'm not responsible for any trades that you make. But I can always advise you, and that's about it. So, while we're talking about advice, Tesla, TSLA, I love trading this stock. I always advise, to trade Tesla because it is just such an easy pop. So unfortunately, it's a pretty expensive stock. So with my small account and my risk management plan, I wasn't able to buy a bunch of shares, obviously. So I did end up buying for an average of 402.29, and I sold it for 410.80. That's an 8.51% gain. Now, for those of you out there keeping track, you should be like, wait, I thought you couldn't make a day trade. Okay, so I actually have multiple brokers and multiple accounts, and that's how I push it as far as I freaking can, because I do have these multiple accounts where I can, make trades and kind of be able to space out where my day trades are. Obviously, with BYND, that platform that I bought that stock with, I was in risk of blowing the PDT. And the biggest thing is that if you do go over that limit, they can lock your account for 90 days. So that's the risk there. And obviously I'm growing my account every day, so that would be the worst of the worst. But anyway, so Tesla, I was able to make that really quick day trade, and I'm so happy about it. I just wish I had more to trade with so that I could make bigger gains, of course, but I'm getting there. I also started 2 swing trades. So the first one was Etsy, ETSY, like all of what they're calling the at-home stocks. This one went down with all of those stocks, and it got to a few levels that I was interested in. I started at 120.99 and then bought again at 116.38. My average is 119.45, and honestly, I think this can sell for 131. So I'm going to be holding this for a while. Generally on my swing trades, just so you guys know, I do track them and see how many days I'm holding them. I think that, a sweet spot is for being a holding for a long time is around 50 days. If the trade, if I'm holding it for longer than 90 days, then I kind of consider that a loss. So either I turn this that opportunity into more of a long-term investing, or I just cut my loss at that 90-day. So that's kind of my metrics in time when it comes to swing trading. Although a lot of these trades, you guys saw it last week, I sell them sometimes the next day. So it just depends. But I'm willing to wait for Etsy is the moral of this story. I also bought long for BABA. That's BABA. Another great stock. A lot of people compare this site to Amazon, and the price point is much lower. So I've traded this numerous times. So I have a lot of faith in the way that BABA moves, the amount of volume that it has, and the wide spread, so I can get a big profit. So I bought today at 265.70, and then I started it at 270.30. I bought again at 265. My average is 268. And I'm planning on selling at 284 or 280. So really more than a 10-point spread on this one. I know that it can get there. So I'm going to hold it. And like I say all the time, you want to have a plan when you're trading, and but you also need to see what's happening with the market and fix your plan accordingly. So if something happens, if it gets to those levels, or if I don't see the type of movement, I might move my target down so that I could still get that profit, just depending on how long I hold it, what kind of moves it makes, and so on. So it's not, it's not a cookie cutter plan, obviously. And that's something with trading that I think a lot of people get stuck with is, they want to follow the plan they have for the trades, but oftentimes the stock market is moving so quickly, you need to be able to adapt to what the market is giving you. So that's my, rant for the day. Tomorrow, what will I be looking at tomorrow? So tomorrow, I'm actually going to be looking at travel. They had a huge gain on yesterday on Monday. God, it feels like Monday was forever ago. But anyways, they had a big gain. And, Trip, for example, is up 11.5%. That's TripAdvisor. And almost all across the board, all of those stocks went up yesterday. Today, so we already started to see some of that push breathing, back down to the other levels with CCL. I think it was up like 30%, 15%. I can't remember. You guys can listen to my episode from yesterday and check it out if you want to know that level. But anyways, it's down today by 11%. So this just shows you, what these stocks are capable of bounce wise, especially in this market. Almost all of the at-home stocks are, decreased. Same with Etsy, and then travel is up. But, whenever you see something is too big of a gap, you can definitely trade it if there's enough volume there, and so on. So I'm going to be watching those stocks tomorrow, seeing what is there to trade, and then of course managing all the swings I have. So thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Are You Green podcast. I am also streaming live on YouTube, including right now on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So you can tune in if you want to see it live. The best part about it being live is that I do it live before the market closes. So, it's 12:23 right now, about, a little bit before the market closes, more than 30 minutes in Eastern time. So, so when you watch it live, you can actually make market moves before it closes. And it's also really fun. Okay, great. See you guys tomorrow. Happy trading. Just trying to push for this live stream, guys. It's just, it'll come. But it was really great for you to watch today for the Are You Green podcast. You can check it out on Spotify, on Apple. I do this podcast every single day. The market is so volatile, and if you want to be a successful trader, you have to be clued in every day. So please, join me. I'll try to make it under 20 minutes every day on the cast and also on the live stream. And you can save yourself some research time, and we can trade together. So until tomorrow, take care. Bye.